Great. Okay, we're going to call the meeting to order at 4:04, Jim, okay? I'm just, this is the meeting of the Southampton Council on Aging. Today is Wednesday, March 3rd. It is 4:04 p.m. and we are being recorded. Welcome, everybody. I'll just go through who's on the meeting so far. We have Kay Lorigan, we have Joan, we have Joanne Alderman, whoever that is, Lori Loisel, Jim Palermo, Jonathan J., Nancy Rossio, and our liaison, Maureen Groden, and Janet Kane, chair. So welcome, everybody. It's a nice day. I thought maybe people were having second thoughts. It was such a nice afternoon. So we're moving to first on the agenda is and let me just welcome Jonathan in advance. So Jonathan, we'll talk to Jonathan in a little bit. He's later on in the agenda, but both he and Sylvia have put in applications to be alternates for the COA board. So we're very excited. So, all right, approval of February minutes. Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to accept minutes.
Okay, do we have a second?
I'll second.
I second the motion.
Okay, Josie beat you to it, Kay. All
Okay.
right. And is there any discussion on the minutes? All in favor?
Jim.
Pardon me?
What?
Go ahead.
I didn't hear.
Sorry. Nice job as always, Jim.
Thank you.
Good.
Thank you, Nancy.
So I'm just going to go through approval, aye or whatever. So Jim to approve, Jim Palermo, Nancy,
Aye.
Kay,
Aye.
Josie,
Aye.
and Lori,
Aye.
and Janet, aye. Okay, minutes moved. The approval process goes faster in person, doesn't it? Okay, so I'm going to bring up the treasurer's report because to look through some. Okay, in case we have things to input, okay? Because we have a few extra columns now with the CARE Act 2 and the Highland Valley Care Grant, and gifts and donations were already there. So it looks like, Nancy, you want to just kind of talk through the last month?
You know, I don't really see anything. Oh, I can't look at yours. Hang on. Nothing really big going on there. I know maybe Joan wanted to talk about the CARE Act. It looks like you have the one. Okay, so that's actually correct. That one, the CARE Act is correct.
Okay. So this is in this column for everybody, right? The CARE Act 2, we have spent $6,800 so far to date, Joan, and that leaves us $8,100 outstanding. Does that make sense?
Sounds about right. Yep. I haven't looked at it in detail, but I have some big things coming up with the reception area, etc.
Okay, so the reception desk is arriving on Monday?
Correct.
Correct. So then we can kind of redesign, and I think, I know Flo is, after 2 weeks after her vaccine, is looking to come back into the office, so that's great. Darlene is still getting scheduled, so she has a little bit of a delay, but I know, so that'll be great to give you more space if we can get that set up and the phone up in and the computer up in the right location, and so it'll really be a nice addition to the senior center, I think, to have somebody out there to greet them. I remember when I would come into the senior center before I knew anybody, and that person was always tucked in the back of the office, and I always felt awkward as a new person coming in to kind of like walk in on somebody. So I think this will be a much warmer welcome to the seniors when we do return, and we are going to return. And the other thing that's missing, so the reception desk is about how much, Joan?
So I think it's 1,300 with the chair.
Okay.
And the guards, the protection, the screens.
Okay, and have we paid fully for the awning, the
No,
retractable?
we also have the second part of the awning, which is, I'm going to ask for that tomorrow, the next warrant.
So that's 4,500, right? About?
Right. So those are the two major things.
Yeah, so you take the 4,500 and another, you said
1,300.
1,300, so we're pretty close, getting pretty close to the spending. And we have gotten electric heaters in so that when we do get there.
Yeah, those are another 1,200 that I got in the second round of this. I guess I didn't get it out in time for this meeting, but yeah.
Okay,
So that's another 1,200.
okay, so that should have been in February sometime? Okay,
Actually, January.
January.
okay, okay.
Janet, are the electric heaters for the outside area?
Yes, yep.
Correct.
Thank
So,
you.
if you're meeting, I know some people are meeting in the parking lot sometimes to have their Healthy Bones social hour. I don't know if we've tried, so that'll be nice if we can kind of bring them in the area and have a little warmth between now and whenever it's going to get warm out.
So one day I did actually bring it outside, but
Oh, you did?
yeah, it was too cold and too windy. It would just,
Yeah.
it wouldn't have helped.
Yeah, probably in the middle of the parking lot isn't not going to be conducive. So, okay. And this is from, this is the Good Eats, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. That was the senior meals. So we'll discuss that later on in the agenda.
If you pull that down again where you were, a
Sure.
little more.
Yep.
So that's the Fritta column, that 38% year-to-date spent.
Mhm.
Is that a problem? I don't know. We're over halfway through the year, so we're not going to spend it all. And we don't have the need, right?
Right. It's an unusual year. So unless things open up and we can take a field trip on a Friday night or a weekend, then, and we would have had a couple trips to Bright Nights and et cetera, and things that we can't do. So,
And are we, at this point, Joan, taking anybody for vaccines and things?
so there was 2 scheduled for tomorrow, which have been canceled, but we are open to that.
Okay, were they canceled because the vaccines were canceled?
Or they're only giving out second doses.
Okay, right, so the first dose was canceled.
I go tomorrow for my second one.
Good,
Good for you.
Yeah.
I still can't get in for my first one.
okay.
It's going to open up. It's a bottleneck, but it's going to open
Yeah,
up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Overall, notwithstanding all the bad things that have happened, I think they're doing a great job. I mean, this is the first time anything like this has been done. And once you get to the spot, they couldn't be nicer and more efficient or more polite. I think they're doing a good job.
Yeah, I think they went from, the Northampton specifically went from being just second dose after March 1st. And we have a memo that we'll talk more, that we got from the Northampton Board of Health. So we'll look at that too and kind of give us an update of what's going on there. I think I sent it out this morning. If you folks had a chance to read it, we just got it in yesterday. So Nancy, to answer your question, if we don't spend it all, I think we'll be okay because they know that it's an unusual year, and hopefully they don't cut us back anymore. But
Okay. That's what I thought.
but it's a good point.
And we're not alone. It's happening in every council.
Yeah.
Must be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and justification is that your doctor's appointments became telehealth appointments.
Yes, yep. A new way of doing business for them.
Mhm.
And yeah, I mean, once we get other activities going again, I mean, we used to take people to lunch or pick people up for the luncheons on Friday. So
The
things that
center's
we
not been open, yeah.
are able to do is around the corner, hopefully. So everything else looks good, right? As far as you're tracking, Joan, and your salary, right?
Yep.
You're tracking accurately. Okay.
Good.
So do we have a motion on the
So move.
Second.
second? Okay. Any other discussion? Okay. All in favor, Jim,
Aye.
Nancy, Kay,
Aye.
Josie,
Aye.
Lori,
Aye.
and Janet, I. Okay, great. Thank you. And Nancy, thanks again for the detail on that. I know it's putting a lot of pieces, moving parts together between you and Joan, so
Well, I'm impressed at what a great job she does.
she does.
You know,
I just plugged the numbers in where Josie told me to put them.
I was gonna
I
say,
was going to say you had
had a great trainer.
big shoes to fill, and
No,
you did a great job
Nancy
doing it.
does a great job.
Yeah.
Yeah. I appreciate it very much.
Is it all up to date? Because I know, Joan, because we've been down an accountant, you said a couple of the processing things. Is there anything that didn't appear this month that's,
One of the last minute emails that Nancy shared with me was the FRTA reimbursement.
mhm.
And someday I'm going to share with Josie and Nancy the grant form. I finally got one back from accounting and from FRTA, so you can see exactly how the benefits and all that works. Anyway.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to, my God.
No, it's really very simple form.
So it's improved from when I was doing it.
Right. We were just picking things out of the air or, putting a percentage, but it's there on paper in black and white. So anyway,
That would be
so the
good. Yeah.
reimbursements were about 2 or 3 months behind, but they're catching up.
Okay. Yeah. I'd like to see it.
Great. Okay.
Did we
Directors.
finish the vote?
Oh, did we? That's a good question. I think we went down. I said aye. I was the last aye, so we're all done. Yep. So
Okay.
we're moving on to the director's report, and let me try to see if I have that handy. That's the minutes. We are done with that. Thank you. Did I do the director's report? No, I'm pretty sure I opened it up. Sorry for talking to myself, folks. There we go. Yeah, it's funny because you realize you're talking to yourself while everybody's listening. It's kind of, this isn't the right one. Wait a minute.
No,
Sorry.
that's it.
Oh, this is the City of Northampton Public Health. That's not.
The one we're
Yeah,
seeing
it is.
is director's report.
Yeah,
At it.
Yeah, we've got
we're
it.
looking at the right thing.
Okay, I'm looking at the City of Northampton Public Health. So when I stopped sharing, it went away.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hi, Sylvia.
Hi, I'm sorry I'm late.
Hey, Sylvia.
Having too much fun.
I
That's
love
so-
to hear that.
so
Today, the group came a day early because we had better forecast today, so they were in the parking lot and they were laughing. It was just so warming to hear
Light.
laughing and enjoying each other's company. It was terrific, and obviously
It was
the big
great.
It's great. Oh, Kay was there. Kay was there. It just made my
Yeah.
Okay, and now I get to see it and you get to see it, so that's all good, so. All right, after you, Joan.
All right, so I really should highlight a couple things. It's been a busy month. We had the budget was due. We had the annual report was due. We had the Good Eats to Go. We had obviously the vaccine web, the tangled web, and I think we put in a full month, even though it was a short month.
So tell me, can you talk a little bit to the Good Eats to Go and how that all went, or maybe Josie can tell us how it went, but as well. But
I'd be glad to tell you what I know. I need to
Okay.
get some feedback from the Good Eats people, Kristen and Betsy. But of the 44 names we gave, I think 31 people came. So, or at least 31 meals were given out. We did have one bad weather day, so I'm not sure if that affected it. So we do have to tweak a few things. They did run out of the chicken pot pie. I know a few people were disappointed because that's what they wanted. And by the time they got there on the third day, it was gone. So we may work on maybe not having as many choices, making more of 2 or 3 choices so that we'll have hopefully, or designating food. The 6 that got delivered to picked exactly what they wanted. So they put those meals aside. So Josie was part of that though. Maybe she wants to talk.
Yeah, I thought it was excellent.
Mhm.
Of course, we went probably the first day. So we got what we wanted.
Mhm.
We had the shepherd's pie and the meatloaf, and they're excellent. And I mean, they're good sized servings.
Mhm.
And they also included a brownie, I believe, and not sure something else, but and we didn't know about the brownie. You know, an extra perk, and it was really good. In fact, the way we did it, because I mean, we don't eat outrageous amounts. I think got 2 meals out of it because we split one day and then we split the other one the next day, and very nicely for us. So I'm looking forward to doing it again.
So Joan, the people that didn't come, are they automatically on the next list then?
No, not necessarily. They offered to make phone calls to those folks to see if they would come, this week.
Okay, it's next
Or
week. that
actually, whatever the last week. So the week after it was scheduled, she was calling them to see if they wanted to come in and get something. So I have to touch base with her, get the list back and compare lists, who didn't show up, and what, why. There was somebody that had, they had some good excuses. But if we could have had other people come for the meal, and I don't want them to be wasteful either, to have to make extra and then not use it. So I've got to communicate with them and see how that all worked.
Okay.
But I have a list of already 35 people out of 50 for this month.
Okay.
So we'll have to go.
What are the dates for this month?
So it's the same dates as last month, which would be the 16th, 17th, and 18th.
Okay. Good.
And we just don't have the entrees yet, which she'll give to me next week.
Okay, great. I mean, I think it's a great mutually beneficial activity, and it's great to get them out, especially when people really can't afford the meals or aren't getting out. And, I mean, it's a nice opportunity. So can you give us an update on the Westhampton Transportation Partnership? I did not participate in that call, so I'm just curious.
So Westhampton originally, when the pandemic happened, theirs is a complete volunteer program. And so a lot of their drivers were afraid to drive because, they're driving in cars with one other person. So it's not like the bus where you can distance and, we have the sanitizing protocol, everything in place. So anyway, initially they needed more help with their transportation. Currently, with the teleconferencing and all other kind of things, she said they're handling the one-on-ones that they need to. We're looking possibly to the future, July, August, September, when we can open up and maybe do a joint trip with them on the van just to start things out, so that we would have half the van, they would have half, almost like what we did in Easthampton with our trips, and then we'd go from there. I think right at today they don't need us.
Okay.
But in the future, we may have a joint partnership.
Okay, great. Good.
Is that okay with Frida that we do it that way?
So actually, they're the ones that spearheaded the meeting.
Ah, good.
Yeah, it was driven by Frida. So, yeah. Driven by Frida. Sorry. So, other question I have on here was, just wanted to mention that the certification, when we were rescoring, and we'll talk a little bit about the rescoring of the COA director's position, but we did mention a certification, and they did request to get a copy of something from MCOA. So just like the next day or two, Kathy Bowler sent out an official letter talking about the certification. So I did forwarded that to the PPPB as well as to Ed and to Rini, so that's on file. So Okay?
Yeah, I think they should give me some kind of a certificate, you know.
Yeah, maybe they're doing that in the June timeframe, but this was a pretty official,
Well,
it's not just the paragraph they sent us before.
okay.
If you didn't get it, I'll send it to you. I thought you probably already had it, so my apologies.
No, that's okay. I'd like to
What's
just
the
touch
June
base,
timeframe?
June 23rd or something, the end of June. It's a Wednesday, I believe. It's a Zoom meeting. It's just,
So, yeah, we'll get the information out.
Yeah, we have to have some party or something,
I
right?
think a party for
meet it.
anything.
We'll meet at the vineyard or something. We'll
You can
tailgate.
serve the
Ooh, I like
leftover
it.
food that Josie and Doric have.
What?
The leftovers. So,
Something
Love it.
interesting I learned today, we get not unusual. I'll say there's always a different, request. So the request was to rehab a bath into a shower.
mhm.
I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah. So it's a veteran. He's he's 90 and he was coming back from rehab and obviously couldn't get in and out of the bathtub safely. So I did check with Stavros, and then when I worked on the Highland Valley meeting, I brought it up and somebody suggests go directly to the VA. So I had a conversation they gave me a name. I talked directly to this Mike from the VA, and there's a grant for veterans. It's called the HISA grant, which is a home improvement structural alteration grant. And so luckily, they were able to find that all out. Your primary doctor has to, request a PT evaluation at your home, and they have to check it out. And so I learned a little bit about, some of that. And there's other things that we're talking about, home modification to keep people home safely. So that's coming, Easthampton's doing a lot with that. So we're hoping to share some of that information in the newsletter and, help our Southampton people out as well.
Great. Anybody else have anything they want to?
Saying it's not really related to the report, but I did notice in the newsletter that I'm no longer listed among the members of the board. So
Oh,
I mail, but you may not have seen it.
the mark?
That would not be an accurate statement. Yes. How did I miss that? I always proof it. I don't even think I look at that part because it's so automatic.
Yeah.
I have it right here, so I'm going to look. And I apologize for that. Yep, you're not there. And I can change the electronic one, although that already went out as well. And I apologize. That was all me, Josie. That was trying to add in the Zoom meeting credentials, and then I bumped you.
It's you and all of us that proofed it, that missed it. I'll make sure it's in next month. Sorry about that.
You know it. Thank you for picking up on that.
It was easy.
You can tell what parts of the newsletter we don't proofread.
I always like to know where I am or not.
What was I going to say? So I lost my train of thought. There was something on here. So the Zoom vaccine. So a number of people in town actually volunteered to call a list of 75 and older folks to see before the floodgates open, to see if we could get appointments booked. I think the good news, and I appreciate, and Joan did make sure everybody had their Corey checks up to date. But I think the good news is that of all that, we didn't talk to all of them. We left a number of messages, but of the people we spoke to, I would say 90 to 95% of them were in good shape. So we were able to probably make somewhere around 15 appointments for that age group. We are not calling the 65 and older at this point because in my feeling, unless somebody they can call the 211 number is going well. I know some people are trying to work with them. The line would be faster for 30 people trying to get in than one person trying to get in for 30 people. So I think it's more productive if unless people, because of the 211 number 2, that people will eventually have success, Josie, right, in getting appointments. So, but I do appreciate everybody that was able to volunteer to participate in the week of calling. I know Darlene and Flo did a tremendous number of them, and then some volunteers from our community as well. So,
Do you think it's better to call the 211 than it is to call the Northampton Board of Health number?
I would say that I don't even see the Board of Health number on their website anymore.
They are no longer giving out first
they will be, but not at this moment. So, yeah, so I would just call the 211 number. Even when they're back up and running, we'll see if they republish their number. But there used to be a local email address. There used to be a local phone number, and those are no longer there. So,
are you certain they're going to resume first shots? Because the email I got said they are no longer giving out first vaccine.
How long ago was that, Jim?
I think yesterday.
Yeah, because they're trying to catch up.
I think they're trying to catch up, yes.
Yeah, I think
it's
that's
poorly worded. That's all I wanted to know. Yeah.
It's not
Let me just...
the way I understood it is that I don't think it's for good that they're not going to give vaccines, first vaccines. I think it's just temporarily while the backlog and the people that had appointments ahead of us, and they couldn't, they had to cancel them because there were not enough vaccines. I think it's temporarily.
So if you look at Moderna this is the memo from the Northampton. Moderna vaccine first doses, we will no longer expect to be allocated or receive first doses of Moderna. However, the Pfizer vaccine, the first dose supply this week is extremely limited, and those appointments have long been filled, and some were postponed to next week. So they are doing first dose of the Pfizer when they receive their allocation. They won't be doing Moderna first doses anymore. So this is the I sent this out this morning with, I know it was a lot of attachments.
Yeah.
So take a look at it, but that's,
just
they were approved.
For a second.
They were approved to do 800 a week, and they're going to be open about 5 days a week. So they're expanding the facility, but there was kind of an addition to the Mass sites. So Mass meaning big, not Mass meaning Massachusetts. So I believe they're just waiting to get their allocation so they can start their first doses again.
It's sort of ambiguous, though, because it almost suggests that they'll have first doses for people who were already scheduled to get it and had their appointments postponed. But we'll see.
No, I mean, maybe Rini can speak to that, but I know I've seen other releases that have said that they will be doing 800 a week.
Yep.
Oh, great!
Or 5 days a week.
Great.
Well, so that was the fear about a week and a half ago, that they were going to almost shut down completely because they weren't big enough. The governor wanted bigger sites, so instead of closing it, they expanded it to have more vaccine.
Right.
But they haven't got the vaccine in.
I think that was due, fortunately, to all the flack that the governor got from everywhere, especially Western Mass.
Right.
So let's keep telling him.
And our legislature, legislative representatives, we're very vocal between Lindsay Sabadoza, Mindy Dome. I'm having a blank now, but Eric. No, well, this is the legislature. I don't know. John's Eric Lesser and Natalie. Fill in the blank, someone. But so there was a lot of pressure. Blaze, thank you, Natalie Blaze. So yes, so they were going to be only second doses, or not at all. So it's great. It was good news for us. They're just behind on their allocation.
I'd just like to comment on the 211 number.
Mm-hmm.
I called them the other night trying to get an appointment for someone who had been canceled in Northampton for her second dose.
Lori, how come you're not on video? Is that intentional?
No, but that could be intentional. Oh, yeah, I am off.
They keep asking me to turn mine off. Look.
It was a bad hit.
There you are. Okay.
Anyhow, back to 211. The young woman I spoke to, and I did not have a long wait. She picked up really quickly, and she was really helpful. I mean, they really will work with you. You know, she came back immediately and said, "Well, we could get her into Gillette," and I said, "No, that's not feasible. It's too far." And she goes, "That's all I have." And she goes, and she asked for the zip code, and of course, woman's in Florence, which I knew. And she goes, "Let me look." And she took some time to see if there was anything feasible that, you know, was closer. So I was really impressed. And they're sitting all over around the country. I mean, they can be sitting in Kentucky helping somebody in Massachusetts.
Yeah. Well, it's good. I know initially it was a bit of a hiccup, but I think it's good news that it's better.
So, Lori, maybe if you call 211 and there's nothing, you know, that they can schedule, do they have the ability to put the waiting list for certain, you know, within a code or?
Yeah, I know what you're saying. She never offered that. She did say to me, the shipments are going out. Everybody will have them by Thursday. I would advise you to call first thing Thursday. Thankfully, the person got called by Northampton and got her second shot today. And then I spoke to her to say, "Did you get the second dose finally?" Which she did. And she said it was amazing. She goes, she was talking to one of the assistant fire chiefs that were there. And there were 7 spots next to her that were empty. People never showed. So all I could gather, and it's an assumption, and we all know what that does, that people, you know, got an appointment somewhere else and never bothered to cancel.
Okay.
But they do have a list of people on a waiting list. So at the end of the day, if they have X amount of doses left, those people on the waiting list will get this shot.
And I think someone just because they were going to shut down Bay State, they were going to shut down like Mass General, and now they're kind of have rethought that strategy as well. So people are getting appointments for Bay State and Holyoke, and so there's, you know, keep trying. And tomorrow is usually the day that they dump the vaccine doses out the door. So I know you will be in line with your closest 60,000 friends in front of you, but eventually that number will go down. So
yeah, CVS and Holyoke, if you can get on the CVS site or a CVS app, Holyoke has them. That's, I think, where Darlene finally is getting hers.
I tried and they didn't have any, but not today. I didn't try today.
No, I think Darlene is going over to Whitney.
Yeah, she's going to Bay State.
Somebody else went to CVS in Holyoke.
Sylvia?
Yeah.
I understand that CVS in Palmer has them, but you need to prove that you live in that area.
Okay. So, and I also know somebody that has a CVS card and they logged into their account and they were able to get one where before they weren't able to get one. So I don't know if that was just a coincidence or if that moves you further up the line. So I'm just sharing that with everybody to share.
You know, I think we all need to just be patient. I know we're anxious, and you know, it's easy for me to say now that I've had 2 doses. But you know, this is new, and it's like anything that's new. We're trying to get through the kinks.
You know, like I mentioned to you, Janet, a few days ago that I think it's creating anxiety, and for me, it's beginning like a contest. You know, I have it and you don't, so it's just, I just, when it happens, it happens. I'm not gonna, that's on my part.
Right.
Sorry about the phone.
I agree.
I did it myself.
I do want to share a story I heard today. Oh, sorry, Jonathan, do you want to speak
Oh,
first?
I was just gonna comment that a friend of mine referred to trying to get an appointment as Hunger Games for seniors.
I like that.
That's a good one.
So someone shared with us that there was a scam that you know how everybody's anxious and some people are setting up several devices to try and, work off different devices to pick up appointments. And somebody either called or emailed them, said, we have an appointment for you. We see you're in the waiting room. Just give us this information. And it included, the very last question was your credit card number. And they're not going to ask her credit card number. She gave it and then realized that it was a scam. So she had to cancel her credit card.
Well, the form that I filled out, and I think it's legitimate, but when it asked for my name and I started typing my name, that dropped down for my credit card, like when I'm buying something online and I hit MasterCard, the information drops down, that showed up on that form. So,
Really? I don't
I
remember.
think it's more about the memory in your computer, Jim, than the form itself.
I have no idea what memory is anymore, Janet. but
But I do think that your computer kind of saves that and it attaches that string more than the form. It's because I used the form and didn't have that issue. So
okay, good. Because
But
I wasn't
anyway,
alarmed by
but
it.
it's scary,
As soon as
yeah,
I
it's
typed
scary.
in my name, it went away. But
Joan, are you getting any still calls from people, and what direction are you giving them at this point?
It's surprising that the people that are calling and say, my neighbor told me to call you. Do you have any information at all? I says, it's been out for weeks. I apologize for you not having it. But I've been still giving the Board of Health number that we were given. So I guess I shouldn't be doing that.
I think, if that document, let me look at that document again. And maybe, again, I don't know if Rini has more information, but I really, nowhere on their website at this moment does it give that phone number. It just gives 211 now. So it may be because they just can't keep up with the call volume. So since there is a call number for the state, that it's smarter to go. So I would push them in that direction.
211.
Yeah. And then go to hopefully the mass, as soon as that site opens up with first doses, we'll get the word out.
it also, just on this broad topic of alerting people to scams, I've received 2 or 3 calls a day asking for my Medicare information. And there was an article in some periodical I get saying that they emanate from India as a boiler room operation. And, it just seems to me that so many seniors are being scammed that it might even be good in our newsletter. Of course, I shouldn't volunteer because I don't want to do it. But if we could even get a listing of the current scams and warn people, or just a generic warning about seniors not giving out information over the telephone.
I think either MCOA or the Sheriff's Department has Rachel Senecal, who's part of our triad, giving either a Zoom presentation on scams. Not that everybody can get to Zoom or is comfortable with Zoom, but I know there was something on scams. I think it's next week.
Yeah.
If you can send it out to your email list, Joan, if you can, and see if at least some people can get in on that. Yeah, I don't even answer my phone if I don't know the number, so I don't know.
Just to address that, Jim, I was on Triad for over 18 years. And every year at a luncheon, we had Rachel, and before her, Chris Geffen, who was preceded Rachel, come out and talk about scams. And you can tell them a zillion times, do not give out those numbers. And then the next thing you know, Chris or Rachel or Dave Sullivan gets a call.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
just gave out my number.
Yeah. I mean,
Well, particularly now, like I was waiting for a phone call about my COVID, shot and stuff. And so I was answering more calls than I normally would. And also I've got kids all over the country almost. And so even if it's not a whole list of numbers, but just a single phone number, number listed, I will answer it. And I was getting a single phone number for these calls from India.
I mean, yeah, they're getting, it's a pretty smart.
Chris Geffern's comment on that is their career. Their career is scamming.
Yeah.
And they're really good at it.
Well,
Very intelligent people fall into it.
Well, for example, these calls you get to support local police, almost all of those are scams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also I'm worried too about every time a bill is pending in Congress, there's a new group that wants your money so that they can support passage of the bill. And I don't know, if they're lobbyists or what, but it seems to me that those are highly suspect also.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm sorry for the digression. But
No, that's okay.
that's what I do.
Was Darlene's part of that?
Darlene's is attached, but my very last comment on my report was that it was Janet's birthday over the weekend, and we all need to wish Janet a happy birthday.
Well, happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Her
Yeah,
dogs.
I was trying to get past that on the bottom of the page, Joan, so.
Josie, do you have any of your brownie left over? We can light a candle and see.
Well, I was going back to that brownie. They
Actually, your
split the
stop
meal, but I
was.
thought I wouldn't split my brownie, that's for sure.
Okay, moving right along. So, Joan, do you have any updates on, you want to go over Darlene's? I may not post it again because we sent
that's
it out,
fine.
but any quick
So
comments?
Darlene's been instrumental in most of the Zoom programming that we're doing, the line dancing and the bingo, and she's also doing a lot of the phone calls for vaccinations. She's been working so diligently trying to get people appointments. And also for the Good Eats to go. So, I mean, even though she's not directly physically in the office, she's working more at home than she would in the office. And Flo, the same thing. I know they try to keep to their days. And if I ask them to do something, I said, you can do it tomorrow when it's really your work time. But they're good. I mean, they're responsible and they care. And, if you ask them to do something, they're right there to do it. So.
Yeah, pretty great, pretty terrific staff.
Yeah.
All of them. All right. Any update on any spring activities at this point, Joan? Nothing?
Well, I'll wait. I think is Kay going to go over Friends?
Well, I do have
Yeah.
spring activities roll out before that, so as part of your report. So then we'll do the Friends.
So the awning, I spoke with, I text Ed, who's his company's installing the awning. Originally, we had thought March. Of course, we had that wind gust the other day, and then I thought, there's no rush to be putting it on the wall in the middle of March because we're not going to use it. So anyway, I am going to make sure he gets the second payment, and it's scheduled to go in, the first week in April.
Okay.
We're looking. I mean, our walking club is still walking, weather permitting, and we're trying to do outside. I'm pushing the Tai Chi and the pickleball. I know we have some pickleball players, but there's so much going on with the vaccine and everything else. And, is it iffy weather, good weather, bad weather? So I think if we push till May, hopefully May, things, we can still have cold and wet months in May as well. But I'd like to see, we're having some outside programming in May. This gentleman who comes from the Holyoke Gas and Electric every year, and he said, well, other programs are having it outside. Can we schedule something? So he's scheduled for a Thursday in May, and he's bringing tabletop pies, and he's bringing whatever. He has to give a talk on safety of gas and etc. So things are on the horizon.
Okay.
And Dottie Putnam asked me today, she always stops to get newsletters for her hair salon. And she said, when are you opening? I said, well, we're part of the town hall. We're not opening anytime soon. If the town hall doesn't open, we're not opening. I know the library had some opening. They had to close because of the virus. Other places are not opening either. It's not time. So,
and I do believe that last week, at least, we were the only community in Hampshire County that was still red. So doesn't say we're ready. We're there yet. So
Correct.
Do we have any information of why we're red? I mean, where the infections are coming from, or because we have so little really public places other than Big Y and.
So the story I know is from a whole family that contracted the virus. So
that's been a while, Joan. So that's, that was a while ago, right? So I think that, I don't know why we continue to be at that rate. Because you're right. I mean,
there were a couple of stories that the lady said today about kids that are in activities in school. If somebody on the team was tested positive, and then the whole family, and then all the kids had to go into lockdown too, because then it spreads to the whole family. And I guess that's why we get such high numbers. Yeah,
and again, it's the cases. It's not necessarily the highest death rate. So, I mean, it's just more,
right.
Just have cases. So we just have to do diligent, and we're not ready to open the senior center until we get that number under control. So, okay.
I think you can't assume that people in Southampton strictly stay in Southampton.
Right.
We also go to Easthampton, to Northampton, to Florence, Westfield. So the places that they could contract the infection are much further around than just Southampton.
And we're sort of a bedroom community for a lot of people who work in Springfield and so forth.
Right.
Too.
Right.
Yeah. So.
Sylvia, I know you're trying.
I was just going to say that we are a bedroom community, and, we are surrounded by people who, go to work and come back, or go to school and come back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so there may be, I think we have some really strong frontline workers in our community as well. So, but anyway, we're making progress, and I don't have any facts to share with you. People hear things here and there, but all we can do is, attend Board of Health meetings and see what they report on anything as they do have their meetings. So. Okay, Kay, you ready for your Friends update?
Okay. The Friends are doing very well. They had 2 meetings since our last meeting. They met in February 9th, and then they met yesterday on Zoom, and they're doing very well. They still have over $10,000 in their budget, in their account, and they're planning for some activities. And their main activity, which they did a lot of brainstorming on yesterday, is going to be a fundraiser in May, and it's going to be a silent auction, and it sounds like it's going to be very, very interesting. I've never attended one or have any experience with any, but it sounds interesting. And if it works out, it sounds like it will be a pretty good fundraiser. And they're also working on other projects, the care bags and helping seniors with whatever needs they have, and home repair projects and stuff like that. And they seem to be very active, even though they can't get together, and have a lot of people who are willing to work with them and keep up their fundraising. So hopefully it's going to be May 20th, the silent auction, and hopefully that works out for them. And
As we know, what they do is for the benefit of the Council on Aging, the senior center. So,
Yes,
and
yes, it is.
so their success is certainly our success, and what as we keep growing. So, I know that the silent auction, Kate, from what I understand, is that people are looking for individuals to make, some type. It's not. I mean, they did a tag sale, so this is not the tag sale. Clean out your basement and put your stuff.
No. They're not asking for any items at all. No. They're people are volunteering maybe to buy individuals have volunteered to buy like a gift certificate from a restaurant or some other place, and it can be auctioned off. But no items that people can provide, that they have in their home. Nothing like that.
Yeah. So if any of you have any ideas of something that you feel would be a nice contribution to, probably, who's the key contact on that, Andrea or Joan? I guess we could filter it a little bit through Joan. I was talking,
Joan, I guess, yes.
Talking today with Francine, and we said, well, we could buy a really nice Glendale Ridge gift box and use that at the silent auction. So,
Yeah, that's what I was thinking that too. That's a good idea. Yeah.
They'll do more than one of those. But
Flo Collins has already started a list for those of us that had volunteered.
Okay, that's right, Lori. You're on
She'd be a good source.
Okay, so maybe talk to Flo if you have any ideas or suggestions. I mean, it really
right. Yeah, either talk to Flo or Joan, or just tell them what you want to contribute. Yeah, and they'll add it to the list. Yeah.
Okay. So I mean, we want to have they wanted to have nice quality things. I was going to donate my pickleball paddle so that I could buy a new one, but I was turned down.
A used pickleball paddle?
I don't think they want any used stuff. Right?
No, but this is like a World Series baseball. I mean, my God.
Only if it's autographed. I want it.
Yeah.
So if there's anything that you think of, talk to Flo or talk to Joan. I mean, I think we need to get the approval through the Friends, which is more Flo. So,
and Lori has done a lot because of her familiarity with the silent auction. She's one of the only ones that has participated in it. So thank you.
So it's a great idea, because we didn't have a tag sale last year, and it's a big fundraiser for the Friends. So, which again benefits us. So we whatever, if you come up with anything, talk to Flo or talk to Lori. I'm trying not to add things to Joan's.
Yeah, we're trying to help Joan, not give her more. One of the things we're looking for is, and that's one of my duties, is to price out a TV and a Blu-ray DVR. We want a large item to bring people in. And the other thing is maybe a child's bicycle. So if anybody on the board has any connections with somebody who has a bicycle shop, who might be willing to discount or even donate a bike. Because my thought was, if we can get, the kids will hound the parent to come to the auction. And once we get the parent there and we get them walking around.
They're not walking around because it's online, right? So they have to.
Well, technically, it's outside. What the plan is to have all outside, weather permitting. It's after the election, so I'm not sure where it will stand right after the election. But I'm hoping for a good day. We'd bring tables outside and put the items outside. But we're going to get a list together and keep adding to it in the April newsletter and in the May newsletter.
Okay. All right. Great. Good.
That we just need those little circles, keep people 6 feet apart, and be sure they're wearing a mask. We'll be out there volunteering.
Yeah, the gifts have to be far apart, and so we'll have to figure that out.
Yeah.
Okay, those are great ideas. Okay, so old and new business. We talked about the vaccine rollout already, so we're I think we're pretty covered on that unless somebody else had anything that we didn't touch base on. Okay, then, so we did meet with the Personnel Policies and Procedures Board about revising the director's job and then rescoring that revised. Jim was very kind to put his words together, and we submitted those changes. The key changes are the level of supervision, because it was understated, and then also the kind of the physical labor part of the job, which I don't think anybody on the PPPB probably back in 2017 understood how you have to change the room from this activity to that activity and the physical labor that goes into that. So those are, Jim, I don't know if you want to sit as the author of those phrases.
No, I think you covered it all. That, I like you said, I think the main thing was the amount of managerial, administrative, and supervisory autonomy that you enjoy.
Right.
Which, might not improve the grade, but maybe move you up the scale. Well, I shouldn't say you, the position, right? It's not a person, it's the job position, right?
Okay, and so they did not rescore. We discussed it at that meeting with them, and they are looking, I thought they were going to have maybe another meeting this week to start the rescoring process. That did not happen, so we're waiting to hear from them when that rescoring will occur. So,
How often do they meet? Once a month?
No, they were willing to meet in between because of the budget issues and things. So, Jim?
And Joan, you do attend department head meetings, right?
When we have them, yes, I do.
Yeah, I mean, it's a
Well, I
requirement.
know they haven't had any, but.
Yeah, I mean, they do occasionally on Zoom, but yeah,
Right. Well, we added that to your job, but to the job functions for the position.
And it's a requirement of the job is to attend.
Because again, it enhances your status as a managerial employee too.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Okay, we kind of talked about the Good Eats to Go, so that's good. We talked about the CARES funds, purchases and orders and delivery schedule. That brings us to membership. I know this has been on the agenda for a few months now, and I am excited to introduce both Jonathan J. and Sylvia Galvan as two people that have submitted volunteer applications to become alternates to the Council on Aging Board. So our job is to hear them today, to vote whether we'd like to recommend them to the Select Board, and then to forward their paperwork forward. So Jonathan, do you want to introduce yourself a little bit? Just give a little overview, and welcome today, and thank you for your interest.
Yeah, well, first of all, I'm running on a platform of 3 meals a day for every senior in Southampton, and both vaccines this month, the latest.
That's a politician right there. Yes.
Well, this is something I've wanted to do, and I probably would have made efforts to do it a year ago if it had not been for the pandemic. I'm just kind of waiting to see how things shake out and not really knowing what's available. But I have wanted to work with the Council on Aging, help with seniors in town. If you haven't already surmised, I'm a senior myself, am retired. I've lived in Southampton now for 4.5 years. My wife has lived here for 25 years. In my career, I was an attorney with a nonprofit organization, actually a large national labor union, and I was involved much with a lot of the governance of the union, and even gave advice to our subordinate bodies on running meetings and proper procedure. But I also, in this area, I've been on I was recently for 3 years on the governing council of the 5 college learning and retirement program. So I have had some familiarity and previous to that with organizations with the governance of of organizations. Anyways, I'm I'll be glad to answer any questions that people have. And I might have to get this phone call. Yes, this is important. So I'm going to turn off my video, or I'll be back.
Okay, thank you, Jonathan. Sylvia, I know you've joined us at our last meeting, you've been trying to get more active in the Friends. So give us a little bit of your background and why you're interested in us still.
Why not? Silvia Galvan. I'm originally from Mexico City. I've been in Southampton for 45 years, and I am a retired educator from Springfield and Holyoke. I continue to be not as active, but active in community work, not as much in Holyoke, but now more in Southampton. Let's see, I'm involved with, which I think is going to become active again, the IPP, which is the Immigrant Protection Project from the local ACLU in Northampton. But we have gone national. We, for about 3 years, been working with, it's on hold, but I think with the opening of the border, we're going to continue. Gary and I, my husband and I, continue to volunteer online with asylum seekers. Our jobs consist on putting them in contact with their own sponsors, especially, in the past, those who were detained at the border, and do translation of their legal documents. And they were sent to us over the phone from 2 organizations in Texas. One is called Raíces, which is volunteer immigration lawyers, and another one, one is in San Antonio, one is in the Paso. And so we are just waiting to see now that Biden is changing some of the rules, so that we can, those who have been in line for over a year, that have appointments, that have never called them to attend their appointments, to start working with them. So we are sort of feel good about that, but we haven't gotten anyone yet. So that's one thing that I think I'm going to go back and do. What else? I think I spoke a little bit to you about the care center in Holyoke. I've been involved with them for close to 30 years. It is an alternative school for teen moms. And they are referred to them by the, transition office, the welfare office, for them to finish the high school diploma. And it has turned into, they go to college now, and actually the Care Center is the only organization in the country that has a teen college for single moms. And they just opened Roque House around the library in Holyoke. There's a number of old buildings that have been closed for years, and they've been rehab. And one of those is housing currently 10 of our students. The requirement is they just moved like 3 weeks ago. And the requirement is to be in college. 8 of them are in college through us, through Bard College, which is we have a contract with Bard College to have an AA for teen moms, and 2 others are outside of Bard, but they have been student of ours in the past. So we're really excited about that finally, after 8 years of figuring it out, that's a requirement. If they're not in college and they don't have children, they cannot live at Roque House. So that's one exciting thing that is happening. There's other stuff that I'm doing, but those 2 are the most important right now: the Care Center and the IPP in Northampton.
And you're also on the Board of Registrars in town, correct?
Yes.
And just one clarification, because one of the requirements for the registrars is that you're not either a member of on a board or committee, but because we're an appointed advisory council, Sylvia did check to make sure that it was she would be okay to be an alternate or a member of the COA board at some point in time. So
Yes, I called the state and they told me that one of the main reasons why I can do it is because I don't get paid to be in either board. So I don't get paid to be in any board, but that was one of the reasons they gave me, principal reasons that, so that's why I'm able to be here with you. Also, another thing, I'm involved now that Jonathan, mentioned that he's a labor attorney. Forever, I've been involved with unions, one way or the other. And as a retiree, I continue to be involved with the MTA, the NEA, and out of the out of the state MTA. Which is the Massachusetts Teachers Association. Right now, my husband is in a Zoom meeting with a new branch. We've been trying to work with Barbara Mandeloni now that she's not the president anymore. She created the EDU, and so my husband is involved in that. Me too, but I'm here with you. So when I'm done here, I can run over there.
okay, great.
I continue working.
If you want to get a job done, give it to a busy person. They find a way to do it.
So do we have any questions for either Jonathan or Sylvia, or a motion to recommend?
Well, I don't have any questions, but I will say I'm impressed with both of you and your credentials and to the board and to Southampton. So thank you for,
Thank you.
I would definitely second that.
Is that, so that's a motion, Josie, to recommend them for appointment? Or
Yes,
recommend them for recommendation for appointment?
yes.
A motion.
You put it so well.
I second that.
Okay, yeah, I think
Laurie did too, so we got
Lori seconded it too.
Put it down, Laura.
Before we had an official motion, so, okay, let's, are we okay if we lump Jonathan and Sylvia together? Does anyone object to that? Okay,
Sounds good.
so all in favor, Jim,
Aye.
Nancy,
Aye.
Kay. Kay?
Oh, aye.
Okay. I'm going to say Catherine, just so I get your attention. Josie?
Aye.
Okay. Lori?
Aye.
Janet, aye. So, yay. So I will, they have both gave me their forms. I will get them, make sure one is initialed by the town clerk. I'll get the other one initialed by the town clerk, and then the select board will vote to appoint you to the board. So thank you and welcome. And this is very exciting. So excellent. I love interest. And just a reminder on that note is that we have our annual meeting is usually the first Wednesday in May. So that will be coming up. That's when we elect officers, and people decide. I think the terms expire at the end of June to kind of notify us whether or not they're of their intention moving forward. So again, thank you both. Welcome to the COA board. We look forward to your input and feedback and assistance to us.
I just have a comment. Do you have to give that to the town administrator to put on the agenda, or I don't know who?
Yes, so I have the two forms. They will go to town hall tomorrow. And he will add those to, he tried to add them to the agenda already, but I wouldn't let him yet because we have to at least try to do our process first and meet you in live on Zoom. I kind of skimmed over it, but we did have our budget meeting, by the way. Joan and I met with them and with the finance committee, who is a very well-informed, dedicated group of individuals. That was an impressive group. They had some basic questions, but I think we're good listeners. Joan, do you have anything that you want to say from that first meeting?
No, I thought that was an excellent meeting. I think, very last minute, Janet had to redo the first budget, and she handled it very well. And the presentation was good. I think, if we don't get the second budget or partial part of the second budget, it wasn't because not for lack of trying. I think you did the research and everything. I appreciate all the work you put into it.
Well, you did a lot of that research, but thank you, Joan. Yeah, I mean, everybody saw the support documentation, I think, at our last meeting. So now we kind of wait and see what the revenues are and what as we move forward. So stay tuned for that. I don't know, Rini, if you have anything you want to add from a select board update, if you happen to be available.
Hi. No, just in terms of the agenda, Ed and I look at the agenda on, it has to be approved by usually Thursday. So if you have, you want to put forth the appointments, the sooner the better. I think we technically have till Friday, but I know Ed's not feeling that great today and he's home.
Yeah.
So,
No, I'll get them there tomorrow. Lucy has to initial Sylvia's. She's already initialed Jonathan's, and to confirm that they're registered to vote in the town of Southampton, which is the first qualification. And then we'll make sure Ed gets them. I'll send him an email tomorrow or tonight as well, just so he knows they're coming.
probably send me a draft tomorrow, and then by the end of the day, I usually approve it.
Okay, so I'll get him out something tonight about adding those two folks to the agenda. And is it important for them to be in attendance?
A lot of times people are, just to say hi and just to welcome them. So if they're free to do that, then it would be, first thing in the agenda, usually on Tuesday of next week.
Okay.
So the Zoom link is usually right on the website.
Yeah.
And if we can't, Rini, if we can't make it, that's okay.
It's
in this
okay.
case? Okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, not everybody is.
Not
able
everybody
to make it.
does. So long as the form's filled out and the vote happens by the initial committee, then, and I know both of you and I endorse you fully. So thank you. Thank you for stepping up. Now you have to help us find a select board, a couple of seats, and also Board of Health.
Yeah.
Speaking of Board of Health, I'm going to jump on the Finance Committee meeting at 5:30. Board of Health is presenting. So nice to see everybody.
Okay, thanks,
Thanks,
Rini.
Who's leaving from the board?
Well, they're down to 2 people, and Rebecca's not running again.
Yeah, Charlie resigned and then Rebecca's not running, but there is somebody who's taking out papers, nurse practitioner in town, Leah, I think Casquello.
Yeah, I have a bio on her I'll send out to people. So, I mean, she looks amazing. She got like her master's somewhere at some small school, Yale, and her undergraduate at Union, and has an amazing background in healthcare. So,
Select board is, Francine's not planning on running, and then I'm not sure about Matt. Kind of worried that he won't. He's got little kids, and then John moved out of town, so it's Chris and I right now. I didn't
Wow,
have people that were going to take out
a lot on your shoulders.
Huh?
so if anybody's interested, just let Rini know. Go pull papers and run for the select board. Right, Jonathan, you ready? Start with the COA, right? So.
Small step.
Okay.
We got to get those
Thank
3
you.
square meals a day and vaccinations.
I eat 5. I'm concerned. I usually eat 5 meals a day. So.
Hey, we're going to start small. Incrementalism.
Get my vote with 3 desserts.
Thanks, Rini.
Thank you.
Okay, so the next meeting, we're up to the final. Is there anything else that there's nobody here from the public, so is there anything else we missed before we schedule the next meeting and adjourn? So it looks like April 7th. Okay, at 4 o'clock.
Yep.
Now I'm waiting for Jonathan to tell me how I should be running the meeting now that I know that about you, Jonathan. So I'm open to feedback.
Flexibility is always good, and you're fine.
So 4 o'clock on April 7th. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
I will make a motion to adjourn.
Do we have a second, Lauren?
Second.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, wow. You guys, we can stay longer if you want.
No, I mean,
Okay. All in favor?
like me.
Jim?
Aye.
Aye.
Nancy? Kay?
Aye.
Josie?
Aye.
Lloyd?
Aye.
Janet, aye. All right. So as everyone may or may not recall, the alternates do not have voting power, but they have everything. They can input all they want, share all their ideas, make recommendations. And if we do not have a quorum, they fill in for the people so that we do have a quorum, and then they do have voting power. So again, thank you for coming forward, and we look forward to having you as part of this great group of people. So
Thanks to everyone.
have a
Thank
good
you.
night,
Take
everybody.
care.
Welcome.
Take care. Be
Aye. Aye.
Stay safe. Get your vaccines.